in case.
All right, awesome. What's up, guys? Welcome to another video. Today we have a podcast/interview with Hipster Pug. How's it been
Hello,
going?
everybody. It's been a while since we talked, so yeah.
As it's been, would have to be about a year since Moonquake, right?
Oh,
I
wow.
think that's the last time
Is
we
it that long
talked.
ago?
I
Really?
think I think
That
so.
that that was back in 2018 then, or maybe the beginning of 2019. But wow, that's a long
Yeah.
time ago.
Well, I mean, we talk all the time on Twitter, but the last time we
hmm
talked, yeah.
It's true.
Well, it's been a very long time though since we even first started talking anyway. So it's been nice to see. Um, because just to let everyone know why we're here today, we're talking about Hipster's newest album. Is it Neon Noir or
Neon Noir.
Neo Noir? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So this is the newest album, and I think if I remember correctly from when you were telling me what you wanted to do, it's all not samples. It's all like your own sort of stuff.
Yeah. So for the previous albums, I always used samples from sample packs and stuff, and it was cool to work with that. But it's after Amour sans fin, what was one of the albums I released earlier this year, back in February. I was like, it was before even. It was after Moonquake. Sorry, I had a moment that I thought like, okay, it's time to make my own music now and not rely on samples anymore. And I really wanted to make my own sound and give my own touch to the music. And that's when I started creating Neo Noir.
Yeah. So how did you go about changing across that? Because I assume it would be very different making an album with samples versus making stuff like completely on your own. Was it like a huge change to do everything differently?
Yeah. It took me a lot longer than I thought it would, but because with samples it's easy, you know. You put samples together, and if that works, you can create a song out of it, and basically you're done with it. And with this, it took a year and a half to have it done, and it was the best time of my life with music, creating music. But there were moments that I thought like, "Oh my god, why did I start with this?" But but then I thought like, you know what? The story that I wanted to tell with Neo Noir, that's super important for me to do that, and I can only do it by creating an album myself. And um, when I finally uh, reached the point that I knew like, okay, now it's ready, and now I have a moment that I can release this album. Um, I was super happy. I was really happy with the end result of this album.
Yeah, that's good. Because that was like end of October, right? Start of November.
Yeah. The when was it? The day before Halloween.
Oh, yeah. So how's the response been so far? Because you said you're happy with when you put it
um,
out, but what do you think
yeah.
now?
Um, what can I say? I only get positive reactions. It's bizarre. I knew when I was making this album, it sounds a little bit ego maybe to say, but I knew that I was creating something really good.
Mm.
And I knew that I put a lot of energy in it, and that I took a lot of time to create an album that I really wanted to create. Not like, okay, here's the song and I'm happy with it, so I release it. It needed to be perfect. And yeah, the reactions that I get are amazing. Like most of the people love the album and compliment the way the music was made and how it sounds. And so yeah, it's only positive.
That's good. You never have people going through like, this is horrible for no
Not
reason.
yet. No, not yet. Maybe, but I don't think so. I mean, I made this album with a reason, and I think the people who listen to this album, um, it's gonna sound weird, but they understand it too, or they get the story that I wanted to tell with this album.
Yeah.
So I think that not a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh, this is shit and this is horrible," um, and if they want to do it, they can do it. I mean, it doesn't care to me.
So do you think you're gonna keep making music like, well, like this style of like a full original, or use more samples
Uh,
again, or
I made a jam last week called Roses, and I tried to put self-made music with samples, and it sounds fun, but I don't think I can make a full EP out of that or a full project out of that. So probably I'm going to stick with just creating music myself and more in the ambient um, genre than what I did before with all and with down tempo and lo-fi, and move to more ambient and cinematic kind of music.
yeah, before we jump into like all of the individual stuff, I gotta ask about this album artwork. I think like I liked the Moonquake thing and Space Oddity and all that, but those seemed
Mhm.
kind of photoshoppy. This seems like a painting. Did did you do this or get like an artist to paint something?
I found the amazing Kiana Denise on Twitter, and
Uh,
she makes wonderful art. It's I'm when I still look at the cover art, it makes me still super happy because it was exactly what I wanted. When in the start of this year, I think it was this year, maybe it was last year. I'm not sure, but I was looking for an artist on or a painter or someone who can create a cover art on Twitter, and I don't know how I found her, but I just sent her a message and told her like the idea that I had for the cover, and she had an example for something, and I was like, okay, this is cool. Can you create something like that? And she created this, and it's wonderful. I mean, it's really amazing.
yeah, it looks really good, and I really like the little like Moonquake and the now playing Hipster Pug little Easter eggs.
I really wanted to have the Moonquake Easter egg in it
Yeah.
because that was the first album that was kind of successful for me. And um, you said Space Oddity. What did you think of that album? If you're looking back to it right now, or if you listen to it back right now, you can be honest, right?
Um, I think I haven't listened to that in a very, very long time. I'd have to like go back and listen to it to have an opinion. Like I don't really remember too well. Like I remember Moonquake because we talked about it fairly
Hmm.
recently, and I haven't had time to listen to Roses yet. But I had that on my bloody. It just
Okay.
popped up on my subscription feed one day, and I was like, "Oh, Roses, that looks cool." And then I added it to
Mhm.
like my playlist for whenever I have time. And then you were telling me that you made it, and I was like, I didn't even realize that was yours.
Uh, that's
You
fine.
just released an album. I didn't think you'd have more music coming out already.
No, you know how I am, right? I need to
Yeah,
create. I cannot sit down and do nothing.
this
Uh,
is very
and
true.
and and this was not planned. I mean, it was just a fun little jam that I made, and I thought, like, you know what? I just throw it on YouTube. If people watch it, they watch it, and if they don't like it or don't watch it, I can be bothered by it because it's
Yeah,
just for fun.
you really do a lot of work. I remember once, I think during Moonquake, I was trying to like do something, and I was like, "Would you have any ideas for doing music like this after the album?" And then the next day, you just sent me like this full version of what I wanted, and you were like, "I did it," and I was like, "What?" I meant after the album. How do you have time for this? And you said the same thing. You were like, "Yeah, I just like to work."
Yeah, yeah. I mean, um, it's another weird thing to say, but I think music saved me from from a period in my life where things were not going great. I mean, and that's why I created Neo Noir. Neo Noir is basically the album about a time where I didn't feel all right and things were not great and I had a burnout um, and the growth that I had with this music thing and growing and learning more about music really helped me to get to the point where I'm right now.
Yeah. Do you want to go through like we? I don't think we ever did this with like Moonbrook or anything. But I thought it might be a good idea if you want to like go through each of the tracks and talk a little bit about like the idea and how you made it and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, let me get a. I'm not knowing all the songs by myself, so
You don't
I
remember
need to.
all of your songs off by heart?
All right. Oh. All right. So you want to go through the whole album?
If you want to, I mean, this is like the
Yeah, yeah, no
Hipster Pug
problem.
thing, yeah. If you want to talk about it,
Yeah, of course. So the first song is called Fear. No,
still there,
sorry.
all good.
The first song is called Shadows, and it was made with Bill Gelwick. He did the guitar for this song, and it just happened to be like I was in a podcast from him, and he told me like he is a musician too, and he's playing music, and he's playing guitar. And I was like, okay, it would be cool to work with you on a song for this album.
Yeah,
And it took some time, and I was creating something, and then I finally had a song that I thought like, okay, you know what, this could use a great guitar sound. And then is that was the moment that I thought like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna ask him for creating this. And yeah, then we had this song, and I'm still super happy about it. It's um, it took some time to finalize it because of the warp sounds that you hear through the song.
yeah,
And it was a kind of difficult to finish it because when we had the bass and we had the guitar, I found it very difficult to add more to it. But I knew that it needed a bit more, so I put the end thingy with I think it's tremolo kind of sound to it to have a better um, do how do you call it?
sure.
Um, yeah, that I cannot get to the word right now. Um, Transition to the other song. That is what I wanted to say.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, and then we have Lost, what was a song that I created last year already, and um, it's more. Um, wow, I really don't know what to say about all the songs. Um,
Did you make the
you know,
visual video for Lost as well?
yeah, yeah, with help from some Fiji loops. The
Okay.
thing is, like, I can talk about every song, but I think it's more important to talk about the album overall. Uh,
Oh yeah, we could
what
do that.
starts darker. Um, so it starts a little bit dark with shadows, and that's what I really wanted to have um, because I wanted to go from dark to more light sound and more light ambient sound, and that's for the first four songs I created like a darker sound and more heavier sound, and then with Burnout. I wanted to have it more upbeat so that it already moved a little bit more to the like, okay, something is going to happen right now. Then you get a
Still there. I can't hear you. Oh no. Alrighty, guys. I'm not entirely sure what happened. I think maybe the internet went out, or maybe Holland got nuked. I have no idea. I'm gonna try to investigate and find out what happened.
Don't hear you anymore. So I thought like something is wrong. And then I clicked clicked on your icon and I was like, okay, nothing is happening right now. Ah,
Yeah,
computers. I love them.
yeah, it must have just crashed. I think you were just talking about a new start, and then it just went silent.
Well, that's ironic for a new start.
Yeah, I was like, "What's the start? This isn't happening. It's just quiet."
uh, you know what? I just start over again for the whole album because it was one uh, one wave of information about it. So a darker and a light, darker sound that goes to a more light sound, and it goes through from the first song to the fifth song is a little bit more dark, and from the fifth song on to the last song, it goes more light, and it ends with a song called Lights. Um, and what was very important for me was to add a little bit of darkness in that with a tremolo sound with a violin, um, and then move it over to a only piano. It was something that I had planned already for like the from the start on, that I wanted to have this build up for the last song, and I'm really happy that I could do it.
So overall, it's like kind of, I'm guessing, about your journey, and it's just from a journey of like darkness through to light, finding
Yeah,
yourself,
yeah.
I guess.
I don't want to I don't make it want to make it darker than it is, but it's a journey from a time where I didn't feel very happy, and like I said earlier, like had a burnout, and that was something that really hit me. Um, and from that moment on, I also changed things about life, and um, things are a lot better right now, and everything is perfect right now. I cannot complain, but back then I was just not happy, and I had to find my way to get back to what I wanted, and music is a really big part of that, and it really helped me. And I think um, through the way of making music, I could make this album, and yeah, I think that was one of my dreams and my goals for this project as Hipster Pug, to create this.
Yeah, I think there's a lot that I liked, and it's good to hear that you're going to continue doing like the same style of stuff because I think it really worked.
Hmm.
Like it sounds more unique, I guess. Like
Oh, thank you.
it's more specifically you than just like anyone online.
Mm,
I really, really liked some of the sounds in Lost as well. When it comes
mm,
out of the jazz a little bit and it goes into the
yeah.
like, I don't even know what instrument it was or what synth or something, but it was just this like ah sound like after all the jazz, this kind of like high pitched thing. It sounded really good.
Uh, I for this album I used a lot of virtual instruments, and
Right.
for Lost I used like 3 or 4 different instruments. So um, I'm not sure what it was, or maybe if I'm listening to it, I could tell you like, oh, that's that sound, or that's instrument.
It's interesting that you said that you wanted to make more like cinematic and ambient stuff because one of the when I listened through a couple of days ago when I had time, one of the things that I wrote down about it was that it was a very complex and delicate album with a lot of ambient cinematic sounds, which is exactly what you were trying to do.
Yes, that was also one of my goals. Like, To be honest, like the idea for Neo Noir was already after Space Oddity, but then more in the Space Oddity kind of style, like more down tempo and put samples together and see what works. And I'm super happy I didn't make this album then and waited a couple of years before making it the way as it is right now. Uh, and before Neo Noir was Neo Noir as it is right now, because I had the idea for, okay, I want to tell a story and want to tell more personal story, but I didn't know like how. So first of all, it was more synth wave and more synths and more upbeat. And I just thought, like, you know what? It's not really my style. I don't really feel creating music like this. And then came the idea like, okay, maybe more ambient and maybe more chill and maybe more cinematic, what was also a really important part for me. So I started listening to a lot of music sound of movie soundtracks and series soundtracks, and that was also an inspiration for me and some other artists as well, like Oliver Arnold and News Farm. Uh, uh, those are artists that really inspired me to make this album.
Yeah. I think I think this new sound really works as well. It's good that every time we talk, you always say there's positive feedback because when I listen to this stuff, I'm always not sure if it's like actually good or if I'm just being biased because we're friends. But then every time I ask, you're always like, "Oh yeah, everyone likes it," and I'm like, "Okay, cool." So not just me.
No, and you know the thing is like even if you hate it, just be honest with it. I mean, I can only learn from it, and that's also what I also ask from people. Like, please give me feedback on what I could do better for the next time, or what I should change, or should I change anything at all, or should I keep doing it like this? Because then I can learn from it, and that's something that I'm also really interested in learning more about music and more about different sounds and different styles. So
Yeah. I think if I remember, when you did Moonquake, you wanted to send me the original version to listen to, and I think I did have feedback, but I don't. I mean, I think this new sound is just. I mean, I don't. I wouldn't really think that you should take my feedback on this because it's more like your sound and your like completely original sound more than anything. And
hmm
I think the difference here is I could say like, oh, maybe I would do this differently, but this is like what you would do
yeah.
for music, and it sounds like. I mean, I thought it was exactly what you wanted. It was ambient, cinematic, very good.
Uh, yeah, yeah. No, it's that's true. I mean, this is the album that I wanted to create. I mean, uh, when I had this album in my mind, like when I started with this album and knew in like, okay, I want to go for a more ambient style and more cinematic style. This was what I had in mind, and um, the only thing that I regret maybe is that I didn't work with more other musicians or other artists. But maybe a little bit of a teaser. But next year I really have a big plan for that, and I really want to do a super huge collab with a lot of musicians from Twitter and from other
Ooh.
platforms to see what's possible. And um, the idea that I have right now, I mean, I always have a lot of ideas for an album, and it can change also a lot. But the thing that I really would love to have is put different genres together that you normally wouldn't do, like put jazz and EDM together, or put ambient and rock together. Um, and just see what you can create with it. I really want to see, like, can you create a unique sound, or can you create something um, how do you call it? Can you create something new with different genres put together? And
Yeah.
that's maybe one of the things that I want to try out next year with a lot of musicians, and hopefully they can work together too to make a song or make a sound. And um, I'm probably also not going to do it under the name of Hipster Pug and start just a new project to for that, or to see if we can do something like that.
So you're thinking of like releasing it under an alias?
Um, well, it's more like if I'm going to do it with a lot of people, it's more like a thing that you want to do together, like as a group. Um,
Oh,
and
like
I
as a
think,
whole, like group albums or
yeah,
project.
yeah,
Gotcha.
and I think it works. I think it works better under a different name. Then that everybody's like, okay, I like this, and I can work under this name right now, so I can make different sounds that I normally wouldn't make, or different songs that I normally wouldn't make. But because I'm trying a new, try it under a new name, maybe I can try it right now. I want to try to get people from their from their original genre to a new genre.
Hmm. Sounds interesting.
And maybe it doesn't work. I mean, I have a lot of other ideas too, so it's not like if this project is not going to happen, or is going to happen, but it's completely different. I'm super happy with that too.
Yeah.
And otherwise, I will work on my own music and work with a couple of more musicians on new music. Uh,
It's probably a
and
good time for it with everything that's going on. There's probably a lot of musicians at home that want to just make some music.
Oh yeah, yeah. It sounds horrible to say, but this year has been great for music and for growing in your socials, and meeting new people and learning and discovering new music. So yeah, even though it's a shit year, for music, it has been good.
Yeah. Well, that's all good to hear. Good to hear that there's going to be some new stuff coming and maybe some very experimental stuff coming in some way or
Mhm.
another. Lots of different artists.
I will try. I mean, like I said, it's just an idea. I didn't even talk with people about this, and
Yeah.
um, like I said, like if it doesn't work out, it's okay too. There's a lot of other things that I want to try and want to do. So um, I, sometimes ideas are fun to have, and you don't have to work with it. But it's always nice to give it a try at least.
Yeah. It sounds like another one that you're going to do, though. I remember when we were talking about Moonquake, you ended up saying that one of the things you wanted to try in the future was doing an album with all your own music, and then you did. So now this
Sorry
sounds like the
again.
next thing. Pardon?
You said so what did I want to do?
Last
I
time you
forgot.
said you wanted to do an album with like all of your own music,
Oh yeah, yeah, that's true.
and then
Yeah,
you
I
did
did
it.
that. So
So
give me another year and a half, and I have this project too.
it probably would be a pretty. It could be a pretty long time if you're having to do it with like a lot of different musicians as well.
I think if I'm going to do it, and if it works out, it will be at least taken a year or two. I
Yeah,
guess, because like other people want to make their own music and have their other things too. So yeah, it probably will take a lot of time, but that's okay. In the meantime, I can also work on my own projects.
yeah, true. Other than that, was there anything else that you wanted to talk about? Obviously, people can go listen to Roses as well. That's out like right now.
Mhm. Yeah, that's on my YouTube, and probably will be on my Bandcamp soon too. Um, and then other things. Oh yeah, I'm working on more music right now with some musician from Twitter, and hopefully release that song by the end of December. And that's gonna be the last song of the year.
Oh, nice. So everybody's got to
It's
keep their eyes out for that.
Yeah, yeah. it's it was not planned, but it's really funny because I just made another jam, and I was like, okay, you know what? I could make a full song out of this. And I sat down and tried to work with it and see what I could do. Um, and then I was like, it doesn't work the way that I wanted. So I put it on Twitter and asked, like, do somebody wants to help me with creating a new song? And then Peacecraft, that's the name of the artist, reacted, and he told me like, okay, you know what? I would love to work with you on this song. And that's what we are working on right now. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm super happy to work with him.
Awesome. Well, everybody's got to keep their eyes out for that and go check out
Hmm.
Roses and Noir, which is out. Both of those are out right now.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you guys for watching, and make sure you go check out all of that stuff.
And thank you for having me on your podcast.
No problem.